What if I told you that just 20 minutes, the next 20 minutes, could become the turning point of your entire life? 20 minutes that could shift your mindset, awaken your purpose, and set your soul on fire again. You see, transformation doesn't always take years. Sometimes it happens in a single moment. One decision, one realization, one message that pierces your heart and makes you see life differently. Maybe you've been stuck, waiting for a sign, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to believe in you. But what if this right now is that time? What if this message is your moment? Because inside these next few minutes, you're going to hear words that remind you of who you really are. Stronger than fear, bigger than failure, and more powerful than every excuse you've ever made. The question is not, can your life change? The question is, will you let it? So take a deep breath, silence every distraction, and listen closely. Because these 20 minutes might just be the start of your new beginning. One decision can transform your entire life, because every great story of success, redemption, and purpose begins with a single defining choice. The course of your destiny is not written in stone. It is shaped by the decisions you make in the present moment. Life has a way of placing you at crossroads where you can either stay comfortable and unchanged or step forward into the unknown where growth and transformation await. It is not the big leaps that change everything, but the one conscious choice to begin, to believe, to move. When you decide that you will no longer accept mediocrity, when you decide that fear will no longer define your future, everything starts to shift in ways you cannot imagine. That one moment of courage becomes the seed of an entirely new chapter in your life. Every person who has ever achieved greatness can trace their success back to a single decision that changed everything. It could be the choice to start despite the odds, to believe despite failure, or to keep going when the world said stop. The decision itself might seem small in the beginning, but its impact multiplies over time. Like a stone dropped in water, its ripples expand far beyond the point of impact. You may not see the full outcome immediately, but that decision sends a signal to your future that you are ready to evolve, to rise, to claim what is meant for you. The moment you choose differently, the energy around you begins to align with that choice. Often, people wait for the perfect time or perfect opportunity, but transformation doesn't wait for convenience. It begins the moment you decide that where you are is not where you will remain. That one decision rewires your perspective. It gives you a new lens through which you see your potential. Suddenly, your mind starts seeking solutions instead of excuses, possibilities instead of problems. You begin to attract the right people, resources, and opportunities because your internal decision has shifted your external reality. Every habit, every goal, every breakthrough begins with a choice to start. When you make a decision that aligns with your purpose, something awakens within you. The fear that once held you back begins to lose its grip because purpose gives pain a reason. You start to realize that you were never waiting on a miracle. The miracle was waiting on you to decide. The power of decision is sacred. It moves mountains, breaks patterns, and opens doors that once seemed locked. Even when doubt whispers that nothing will change, your decision stands as proof that faith still lives inside you. That choice to rise above fear, to take responsibility, to move with intention becomes the defining point that separates who you were from who you are becoming. Each time you choose courage over comfort, you rewrite the story of your life. And in that simple but powerful act, everything begins to change. Change begins the moment you choose to believe again, because belief is the spark that reignites the soul after seasons of doubt, disappointment, and delay. When life breaks you down and dreams seem too far away, belief is the invisible force that pulls you back to your feet. It is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about daring to trust that something better is still possible. The world around you may not shift instantly, but the moment you choose to believe again, the world within you begins to change. Your heart starts to open. Your mind begins to imagine new possibilities, and hope quietly returns to your spirit. Belief is the seed of transformation because it gives birth to action, and action turns faith into reality. Many people live years trapped in the shadows of what went wrong, unable to move forward because they stopped believing in what could go right. But belief is not lost forever. It only waits for permission to rise again. The decision to believe again is a declaration that you refuse to let your past define your future. It is a statement that says, I may have fallen, but I am not finished. Every great comeback story begins when someone decides to believe despite evidence to the contrary. When you believe, you unlock the courage to take the first step again. And that single step begins to rebuild everything that doubt destroyed. Belief is powerful because it changes how you see yourself. It replaces the language of defeat with the voice of determination. When you believe, your focus shifts from what you lack to what you have, from what went wrong to what can still be right. Suddenly, the same obstacles that once felt like barriers start looking like opportunities for growth. You begin to interpret challenges differently, not as reasons to quit, but as signs that you are moving towards something meaningful. This internal transformation creates a ripple effect that influences your actions, your attitude, and the energy you bring into every situation. The moment you choose to believe again, your vision expands. You stop living by sight alone and start walking by faith. You begin to dream again, to plan again, to try again. And each small act of belief adds strength to your spirit. What once felt impossible starts to look achievable because your faith fuels persistence. Even when progress is slow, belief keeps you moving forward. It whispers that purpose still exists even in pain, that hope still breathes even in silence, and that miracles often appear after you decide not to give up. Change doesn't start with external success. It begins internally when belief returns to your heart. That inner conviction becomes the light that guides you out of darkness and into the life you were always meant to live, reminding you that everything can shift the very moment you dare to believe again. Your mindset determines your breakthrough because the quality of your thoughts shapes the direction of your life. Every success, every breakthrough, every level of growth begins in the mind before it ever shows up in reality. The way you think creates the atmosphere for what you experience. A negative mindset will build invisible walls around your potential, but a renewed mindset will open doors you never knew existed. Your mind is the battlefield where victories are won or lost long before you take any physical action. When your thoughts align with faith, discipline, and purpose, you position yourself to attract opportunities, strength, and clarity that lead to breakthroughs. The reason many people stay stuck is not because they lack talent or resources, because their mindset is anchored in limitation. They see obstacles instead of opportunities, problems instead of possibilities. But the truth is, nothing around you changes until something within you does. The moment you begin to think differently, your perspective shifts, and what once seemed impossible begins to look achievable. The mind is powerful enough to either imprison or liberate you depending on the thoughts you choose to nurture. When you fill your mind with doubt, fear, and negativity, you block the very blessings you're praying for. But when you train your mind to focus on gratitude, growth, and faith, you become unstoppable because your thoughts fuel your actions, and your actions create your results. Your breakthrough begins when you decide to renew your thinking. Every great achiever has had to overcome the limitations of their own mind. They had to replace the voice of fear with the voice of faith, the voice of doubt with the voice of destiny. The mind responds to the stories you tell it. If you keep feeding it reasons why you can't, it will believe you. But if you feed it reasons why you must, it will rise to the challenge. The mind is like soil. It produces whatever seeds you plant. Plant negativity, and you harvest excuses. Plant vision and determination, and you harvest success. When you develop a mindset that refuses to quit, no setback can destroy you. You begin to see failures as lessons, not endings. You interpret rejection as redirection. You recognize that pain can be a teacher, not a punishment. This kind of mindset gives you resilience, the strength to keep pushing even when progress is invisible. Breakthroughs don't come to those who wait for everything to be easy. They come to those who choose to think differently in the middle of adversity. The moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start thinking like a victor, your entire atmosphere shifts. You attract strength instead of sympathy, strategy instead of stagnation. Your mindset becomes the magnet for your miracle, the foundation for your freedom, and the engine that drives your destiny forward. Every excuse delays your destiny because excuses are the silent killers of progress, the invisible chains that hold your potential hostage. Every time you justify why something can't be done, you push your purpose a little further away. Excuses may sound reasonable in the moment, but they are built on fear, doubt, and hesitation. They disguise themselves as logic, but underneath, they are rooted in avoidance. Every time you choose an excuse over effort, you trade growth for comfort and dreams for delay. Destiny doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It responds to those who move despite imperfection. The more you feed your excuses, the more they grow, until one day they become the walls around your future. Excuses feel safe because they protect you from accountability. They allow you to believe that circumstances, timing, or other people are the reason you're not where you want to be. But the truth is, destiny demands responsibility. The moment you stop blaming and start owning your life, everything begins to shift. The excuses you create today become the regrets you carry tomorrow. You may not control every event that happens to you, but you always control how you respond. Excuses make you a spectator in your own story, while responsibility makes you the author. When you take ownership, even of your failures, you regain the power to rewrite the outcome. Every excuse delays your destiny because it robs you of time, the one thing you can never get back. Each moment spent explaining why something can't happen is a moment lost that could have been used to make it happen. Excuses keep your energy trapped in the past, replaying what went wrong instead of creating what's next. Destiny requires movement, not perfection. It's not about having all the answers, but being willing to take the first step. Every great achiever had a reason to quit, yet they chose to rise above their excuses. They understood that excuses don't protect you, they only postpone your breakthrough. When you stop making excuses, you start making progress. You begin to see that obstacles were never meant to stop you, but to strengthen you. Every challenge carries within it an invitation to grow, but excuses block you from seeing that opportunity. The moment you silence your excuses, clarity begins to appear. You start recognizing doors that were always open, but hidden by your own hesitation. Your destiny is waiting for your yes, your commitment, your consistency. Each time you push through fear, fatigue, and frustration, you take one step closer to the life you were created to live. Excuses may feel comforting for a moment, but purpose lasts for eternity. Every excuse delays your destiny because it keeps you standing at the edge of what could be, instead of walking boldly into what should be. This moment is your turning point because transformation never begins in the future, it begins in the now. Every breakthrough, every new beginning, every comeback story starts with a single moment when a person decides to change their direction. Right now is not just another passing second. It is a divine opportunity to reset, to realign, and to rise. The past may have been filled with mistakes, disappointments, or missed chances, but this present moment holds the power to rewrite everything. The shift you've been waiting for doesn't come from somewhere outside you. It begins the moment you decide that enough is enough, and that the time for change is now. Many people keep waiting for a perfect day, a perfect plan, or a perfect opportunity, not realizing that every perfect moment starts imperfectly. This moment carries more power than you think, because it is the only moment you truly own. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not promised, but today is the bridge between who you were and who you can become. Your turning point begins the instant you decide to no longer repeat old patterns, to no longer settle for less, and to no longer hide behind fear. One moment of clarity can undo years of confusion. One decision made in faith can shift the entire trajectory of your life. A turning point is not defined by your circumstances, but by your choice to see them differently. You may be standing in the middle of difficulty, but it can still be the start of something great if you refuse to give up. Every challenge you face right now is not here to destroy you, but to awaken something greater within you. The moment you realize that struggle is not the end, but the beginning of transformation, your mindset shifts, and so does your life. What once looked like a setback becomes a setup for growth. Every hardship contains a hidden lesson that prepares you for what's next, and that understanding itself is the turning point. This moment is your chance to stop waiting and start moving. You do not need to have everything figured out. You only need to take the first step. The smallest action can ignite the greatest change. When you choose to act in this moment, you interrupt the cycle of delay and open the door to divine acceleration. Each breath Each decision, each act of faith builds momentum toward your destiny. You begin to align with purpose, and the universe begins to respond to your movement. The power of transformation is not in the hours ahead or the years to come. It lies right here in this heartbeat, this choice, this moment. When you recognize that truth and embrace it fully, your entire story begins to shift, and this very second becomes the beginning of everything new. The power to change is already within you, because everything you need to rise, to grow, and to transform has been placed inside you from the very beginning. Too often people spend their lives searching for something external to save them, a person, a moment, or a miracle, without realizing that the greatest force for change has always lived within. Deep inside your spirit is the strength to break free from limitation, the courage to face fear, and the wisdom to rebuild your life no matter how broken it seems. Change does not start when conditions become perfect. It starts when you awaken to the truth that you already possess what it takes. The same power that helps you survive storms also gives you the ability to create new beginnings. Every human being carries an inner reservoir of potential waiting to be unlocked. The challenge is not whether you have the power, but whether you believe you do. When you stop looking outward for validation and start trusting the voice within, your life begins to shift. The moment you choose to believe that change is possible, you activate a strength that has been lying dormant. You begin to realize that you are not powerless, you are powerful beyond measure. Circumstances may shape you, but they cannot define the greatness within you. The real battle is not against your environment, but against the thoughts that convince you that you are not enough. The power to change lives in the choices you make each day. Every decision, every thought, every small act of discipline rewires your reality. You don't need to wait for someone else to open the door. You can build your own. The energy that creates transformation is the same energy that fuels persistence and faith. When you start acting from a place of inner power instead of fear, you stop being a victim of your past and become a creator of your future. The process may be uncomfortable, but growth always begins at the edge of resistance. The strength you're searching for is revealed when you choose to keep going even when it's hard. Once you recognize that the power to change is within you, excuses lose their grip. You stop waiting for external motivation because you understand that lasting change comes from internal conviction. No one else can think for you, decide for you, or believe for you. Every step forward is built on the realization that transformation is a personal responsibility. You carry within you the light that can dissolve darkness, the faith that can move mountains, and the resilience that can turn pain into purpose. You have been equipped with everything necessary to become who you were meant to be. The moment you stop searching for strength outside and begin drawing from the well within, you discover that you were never lacking anything. The power to change has always been yours, waiting patiently for you to believe, to act, and to rise. Your life is shaped not by chance, but by choice. And every choice begins within you. One decision can transform your entire life when you dare to believe again, shift your mindset, and silence every excuse that delays your destiny. This very moment is your turning point, a divine opportunity to realign with your purpose and awaken the greatness that has always lived inside you. The journey toward transformation does not require perfection. It requires intention, belief, and action. You are not waiting for power to arrive. You are the power. Every breakthrough you desire begins the instant you decide to take ownership of your life and move forward with faith. The same strength that carried you through every storm is the same strength that will lead you into your future. Your destiny is not somewhere far away. It begins right here, right now in this moment, as you rise with conviction and walk boldly into the life you were created to live.